Chelsea. This is my channel, The Fancy Hat Lady Reads. I am wearing one of my fancy booktube hats, and today I'm doing a quick book haul for the things that I got in the month of November. I've got 6 books to show you in this haul. 4 of them are used. Of those used books, 3 are actually audiobook CDs. 1 is new and 1 is an ARC. So I'm going to start with the audiobook CDs. These all come from a used bookstore that I sometimes shop at that has started adding some audiobooks to their massive $1 section. And that is just such an incredible steal if there's anything I have any interest in whatsoever, because audiobook CDs are freaking expensive. So I saw they had in there some interesting looking newer middle grade and YA titles, so I picked up 3. I have Willa of the Wood by Robert Beatty, Shah and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi, and Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. Now, Willa of the Wood is one where I had seen this cover around, but I didn't really know what it was, and I certainly hadn't realized that it is fantasy. This is a middle grade book. Robert Beatty is the same author who did the Serafina series, which I haven't read, but I know of them. This one is apparently a historical fantasy of some sort set in the United States in the Great Smoky Mountains, and apparently the main character, Willa, is something called a night spirit, and she's also apparently her clan's best thief, according to the blurb. So that's really all I know about this, except I know that it was one of the Goodreads Choice Award nominees in the middle grade category this year. It seems to have a lot of praise from people who've read it, so I'm interested to see what this is about, and the narrator on this is Emily Rankin. Shah and the End of Time is also a 2018 middle grade release that was a Goodreads Choice Award nominee. This is the same author who wrote the YA books, The Star-Touched Queen and A Crown of Wishes, which I do want to read, probably more than I actually want to read this. But this is one of the books from the Rick Riordan Presents line, which focuses on publishing middle grade stories based on world mythology. This has to do with Indian or Hindu mythology of some sort. The narrator on this is Sonila Nankani, and I know that this is the first in a series. And the third is a YA book. Forest of a Thousand Lanterns is the first book in a duology that jointly makes up a Snow White retelling, although this first book in the series is more of a prequel story that surrounds the character who becomes the evil queen. And this is set in an East Asian-inspired fantasy setting. The narrator is Kim My Guest, who I am pretty sure I have listened to something else narrated by her before. I think this was a 2017 release, and the second book in this series just came out, and this was one of those series that I didn't have any real concrete plans to pick up, but has interested me for a while since I first started hearing about it, and I find that audiobooks can be a good way for me to try out YA and middle grade series specifically that I'm not totally sure about, but I want to give a test run. I find that YA and middle grade are easier for me to listen to on audiobook than adult most of the time. So even though my December TBR is really overstuffed and I'm already falling behind on it, I am kind of tempted, since I will be traveling for Christmas, to load one of these onto my iPhone to listen to on my plane flights to and from Seattle for the holidays. If I do that, it will be Willa of the Wood, but no promises. I might just stick to my print books in order to try to get to the books that are actually on my TBR for the month. And then the last used book that I have was also a $1 find, but this is a print book, and this is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. This is the first book in a duology that were some of the earlier books that she published, and it's YA, but the premise of this series is like a fantasy scenario where like the lives of the dead are archived in like a magical library, and this has to do with a girl who like works in the archive or something. It's pretty intriguing. I have very mixed feelings about Victoria Schwab, who also writes as V.E. Schwab. I enjoyed the heck out of the Shades of Magic trilogy while also feeling like they just weren't objectively very good. But I know that there are some fans who think that these early books before she got massively popular are actually some of her best work. Anyhow, I noticed after I picked this up that this is actually a signed copy. It's a signed first edition. And so I figure that whatever my actual feelings on the books end up being, someday I will probably be able to sell this for a whole lot more than the $1 that I bought it for. So hey, it's a good investment even if I don't end up liking the book. Next, I have the one book that I bought new in November from Barnes & Noble. I had a discount coupon and I decided to make a little impulse purchase with it. This was something I hadn't heard about at all before, but I saw it in the store. I said, oh, that sounds like this is for me. It's the first volume of a manga series called How to Treat Magical Beasts, Mind and Master's Medical Journal, which is apparently a series about veterinary medicine set in a fantasy world. And it's apparently about this girl named Ziska, who apprentices to a regular veterinarian of non-magical animals, but she wants to learn how to treat magical beasts. So this looked super cute. Like a couple weeks after I bought this at Barnes & Noble, I saw that it ended up on Book Outlet for like a fraction of the price that I paid even with my discount coupon. So like maybe I should stop being impulsy and good things will come to those who wait, but this was my little impulse purchase. And then the last book that I have here is one of my anticipated 2019 releases. This is an ARC that I got from the bookstore where I volunteer. This is The City in the Middle of the Night by Charlie Jane Anders. This is a February 2019 release. Charlie Jane Anders is the author of All the Birds in the Sky, plus a bunch of short fiction. All the Birds in the Sky was a little divisive, but I really liked the quirky style of it. I am hoping that this is equally quirky. This is apparently set on a planet that doesn't rotate, so one side of the planet it's always day, one side of the planet it's always night, and I guess the only inhabitable bits are the rim around the border between the two. And I don't know much more about the story or characters or plot than that. The book description on Goodreads is a little vague, and I am not even sure if this is straight up science fiction or if this will be a blend of sci-fi and fantasy like All the Birds in the Sky is. But regardless, I'm sure it's going to be incredibly unique because I don't think Charlie Jane Anders is capable of doing anything that isn't bizarrely unique. And so I am certain that this is a book that I am going to want to read. Anyhow, those were the 6 books I picked up in November. Let me know if you have any thoughts on any of these books. Anyhow, I hope you're having a nice day. That is all. Bye for now.